Welcome back. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen different reports about several amounts of monies moving from one place to the other. In the last administration, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation was created. There's now a trend where it's being reported that monies for government projects are being moved to personal accounts. The president just this week suspended the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation pending investigations. During the same time, it was also revealed that a company owned by the Minister of Interior, which he has shown documents to say he had stepped down as a director in that company, was also fingered as one of the companies that received payments for consultancy services. Is this a breach? Is this conflict of interest? What do we think about it? You're now watching the political segment, and joining us to have this conversation, we have
Ambassador Chibuzo Okereke, who is a public policy and legislative expert. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Yeah. So, Ambassador, what were your thoughts when this news broke?
Well, I've already said a number of things about this. First, we have a dysfunctional system. Also, we have a situation where we allow politics to be mixed with governance, and that is a problem. Politics never ends in Nigeria. You see a lot of bickering and backdoor activities, this one trying to pull the other one down, the other one trying to pull another person down. I've argued in a different platform that if the document, particularly the memo, talking about the project, the grant for vulnerable Nigerians that they credited to the minister wrote, requesting that a credit to be made to an account for disbursement. Those who coordinated this particular attack, they simply went to get the financial regulations number 713. 713 deals with accounts, banks, and checks. And that provision said you should not pay in government money to private account and don't pay in private money to also government account. At the time, agencies of government were still in the era of creating and opening accounts in commercial banks to transact business. Since we transitioned to TSA and a number of reviews has been done on the financial regulations, Section 1402, sub-III on advances, provided that for disbursement of special projects, that a project manager be appointed and a project accountant appointed, and those people shall be the accounting officers for that. Now, what is the definition of private? As people may know, private is somebody who have tertiary interest or no connection at all to the deal. You can't call an officer private. But we can argue that, is this framework good for Nigeria? Can we review our financial system? Because the Accountant General Office and Minister of Finance are responsible. And then what about the big issue? These 585 million that have been credited to the project manager for disbursement, has it been disbursed to the people? And where is the evidence of disbursement? Even the World Bank, every ministry in Nigeria, every agency, uses their project manager and project accountant to do disbursement. But maybe if we argue that this is open to corruption or it might not achieve the right purpose, we can look at a financial framework or ecosystem that can reach the poor who don't have account or who are unbanked. Because in the last administration, we saw our president, former vice president rather, going to the market to distribute money. How did he get the money he was distributing? So for me, it's about whether we achieved our purpose. And now it's established that there is actually like a misrepresentation of the facts, that financial regulation number 1402, you can read it. Or if we have time, I read it, myself, I have the regulation here. So I said there seemed to be a coordinated attempt, right? Some internal bickering to undermine that ministry. And I've argued that that ministry is the ministry that will define whether this renewed hope agenda is working or not. Because we have 130 million multidimensional poor Nigerians. And this is the ministry that is tackling social safety net and poverty alleviation program. when things happen in different places, they go there, they try to set up a temporary camp for them, provide the succor and food for them and what have you. So let us not allow anybody to take us away from the real corruption issues in the billions. How come we can't find documents about the billions they said were carted away? But documents are everywhere about 585 million. I'm worried.
So you've made some very valid points, which I think Nigerians should pay attention to. Over the Christmas break, it was reported about 40 billion was moved from the National Social Investment Program. I commend the president for suspending the National Social Investment Program, but like you rightly said, do you think this is intentional to shift attention from the 40 billion which was being investigated and now dwelling on the 585
I think so.
million?
No, sincerely, because number one, we've got internal auditors there. We've got a permanent secretary. We've got the procurement officers. And then we've seen this woman, since she took over office, as one of those people who have said, we are going to listen to the cries of Nigerians and audit the social investment register, which was a problem. In the last administration, we asked, where are the people that are giving money? They said, oh, no, the people will be ashamed if you put out their name. The whole country said that register needs to be audited. The minister made that promise, took the argument to the Federal Executive Council, that they approved it. Because this is a national program, not federal government program. So there are state parties, there are local government parties involved. So these people need to participate and traditional rulers in identifying the poorest of the poor who will make that register. And how do we remove dead people from the register? Because most of the people receiving the money are unbanked. So if you send the money to my account to disburse, and I get to that community, that person have, died, right? That money may become part of. So I think there is a diversion trying to undermine the reform agenda that is going on in that particular ministry right now, being led by that young Dr. Edu. And as far as I'm concerned, somebody who has been in the struggle up till now, every young person in government, except it is proven that that person is corrupt and the person has been indicted by a court or competent jurisdiction, we must continue to stand for young people. Because, I mean, if we bring young people every time, they bring things, rubbish them, take them out, and we'll continue to use the old people to run the show. It cannot work. So that young minister who has shown boldness, courage, tenacity, and has maintained productive outcomes in her engagement, visiting over 15 states just in 5 months, and in the north, mingling with these people, trying to reach the grassroots. So nobody should divert our attention from that. And let me say this to you. Do you know, under the last administration, the Speaker of the House of Reps in the 9th Assembly, who is now the Chief of Staff, sponsored the social investment bill. It was passed, given to President Buhari. He refused to sign that law. They've been running the social investment program as a program of government without any legal framework since 2016 till now. The president only signed it on 22nd or 23rd of May, just 6 days to leave in office. So this is the first time we are having a law for National Social Investment Program Agency. Before, it was just a program. And that was what led to this current president now appointing somebody to be national coordinator. So I think something is wrong. And right now, all these things have led to the suspension, and people are still hungry. Something just happened in Plateau. They still have not gotten shelter. By now, that ministry would have moved in to ensure all those displaced people have shelter, they have food, they have, succor. Nigeria is a volatile environment with a lot of fragilities. So that ministry, whether at ministry level or program level, is needed to be coordinating
Ambassador,
efforts.
so are you saying that this could be, allegedly a targeted attack on this minister?
Clearly, as far as what is in the public domain is concerned, that particular memo. Because even if you go to Villa, my sister, the permanent secretary of Villa knows that they have project managers and project accountants. And they use money from there to do this. And the law, Financial Regulation number 1402 sub III, provided, for it. Quoting 713 is entirely a different thing. In fact, under the regulation, you also have special and standing interest. I've always said, it is not who is that lady they posted money to her account. Can we establish that she's the project manager or project accountant? In that case, it's not private. Secondly, that money posted there is said to be disbursed to vulnerable Nigeria. Has it been disbursed, and to whom? Those people it was disbursed, are there evidence to that? That should be the argument. So somebody is trying to attack the very ministry that will define renewed hope. You don't renew hope of rich people who have several cars and go on convoy blaring siren. You renew hope of the poor and the youth who are vulnerable. Young people in Nigeria are vulnerable, and a lot of other people. So if you attack the effort of that ministry, remember that in the last few months, we've got international organizations coming to pledge support in hundreds of millions of dollars. And in the last budget, social investment and poverty alleviation, 2024 budget, having almost more than $500 billion provisions to address it. So some syndicated group of people are interested.
But this goes from the top to the bottom in the sense that besides that, they say he who comes to equity must come with clean hands, which is why Olubumi is in the news, which is why Betta is in the news. Because rightly said, the directors and PAMSEC are the ones who prepared this memo, you're meant to sign it, and they've had some retreat where they trained them, and so I think she would have paid more attention to details. But you also saw the leaked document about Kogi State, where there was allocation to airports, and it could all be the semantics of how they addressed that. But I noticed that most of these disbursements, especially for Kogi, was around the time of the Kogi elections. Some Nigerians have said that even the government from the top, that's the APC, and from the presidency down to the bottom, that they made sure this allocations for vulnerable people, especially in Kogi State, was done around the election to influence the election.
For me also, that is the challenge. That is why I said remove politics from governance. There should be a time for Nigerian people to enjoy their government. Nigeria is not a division of broom and umbrella or Papa, Mama, Pikin, Labour Party, AP. No, there are real citizens who want their government to work for them. Everything cannot be about getting votes. If you go and do social intervention program around the election, definitely people will target vote buying because the people don't get hungry only during the election. People are hungry every day. So you need to do this program and make it, design it in a way that it addresses what it intends to address, and not a way of, getting people to like this party or vote. No. That is the one I would, disagree with. This is a program that should run, and there are several programs. We've got the Empower, and again, this is the minister that said, oh, these Empower people are being owed over 400 million. That money should be paid, right? We've got the government entrepreneurship and empowerment program as part of all these things now are suspended. And don't forget that there are people in that scheme. This is not a one-off thing. It's a scheme that is ongoing. This suspension now, everybody there, if you didn't have a job, you are in the Empower or in the entrepreneurship program, now you are not going to get anything in the next 6 weeks in the first instance, as that particular directive by the president stated. So in the issue of Kogi, I tell you something, in our system, we have to be very, very careful. I listened to some of the, discussions, and I discovered that usually these people, they travel to Kwara, and then they will now go to Kogi. So they put, I said, okay, why do you put that? Because there's no airport. Now, Nigerians are designing airport and aircraft, in Kogi State. So the minister, I understand, said, no, everybody that have done this, you are going to reform government demand, and it's easy. That is why I say, let us not lose the big picture, that this minister have administered trillions. We need to know how those trillions have been utilized, right? Who did it go to? What did we use it for? And not to use 585 million to confuse us and shut down the ministry. So if you have taken government money to go to Kogi by air, my brother, my sister, you know that you give us back the money, right? Because Kogi, you don't need to go to Kogi by air. If you say you went to Kwara and then enter transport, that is not, it's not efficient because the economy, right, it should be applied. Probity and economy should be applied in spending government money. Yeah.
Ambassador Chibuzo Okereke, a partner in the struggle. I've known you from activism for over 10 years. Thanks for sharing your views on this. This is a developing story, and so we'll bring you back when we see the outcome of the investigation.